Okay, there we go. Back again with another live. Today, the initial jobless claims. Let me check if everything is working. And then we will start to discuss everything for today's live. After yesterday we did the shorter one, today we'll be live for about an hour. Let me check it. Amazing. I see the first comment from Laurent in the chat. Nice to have you back. Nice to have you here once again. And yes, lots to discuss actually. And very interesting day ahead of us also tomorrow. But now first today we have the initial jobless claims. So I'm excited to see once again what it's going to look like. How the US labor market is looking like. I'm always quite excited to see, definitely lately, since the labor market and inflation have such a big effect on those rate cut odds. Rate cut odds, small little update on them. Now about 90% here still. So the rate cut is almost certainly priced in for the next meeting. Only thing that could be affecting this still is going to be this initial jobless claims data, but probably it's not going to do that much. Maybe if it's going to come out very low. And then the PCE price data tomorrow, the inflation data. That's going to be some big and important data. You can also see it if you're going to filter on impact on trading economics into how important it actually is. And there you can see, zoom out, that PCE data is very important. Also consumer sentiment, personal income and personal spending tomorrow, all at the same time. So for me 7 p.m. is going to be quite volatile. For most people it will be about, let me think, not 8:30 in this case. It will be a little bit later than the Eastern time. I think it will be 9. Yeah, 9. Probably 9 or 10 ET. It will be. So, okay, let's dive into some charts because we have about 27 minutes left before the data is going to drop. It will, for me, drop at 17:30. For most people, it will probably be 14:30. But for me, here in about 30 minutes, it's going to drop. Initial jobless claims here. Also today we have a Fed Bauman speech later, but I'm not looking into that now. Also because it's happening later. What we should discuss first of all is how Bitcoin is looking like. Bitcoin hasn't been moving that much today actually, since I recorded this morning's update video. Bitcoin hasn't really been moving. What we can clearly see for Bitcoin, which is quite interesting, is that we keep getting ejected from off the yearly open now once again. So hopefully the daily candle is not going to close like this, but there is a high chance it will happen. Let's see if we can put in another higher low here. And from there we can maintain some bullish structure back to the top side. That would be the best case scenario. And maybe we can be moving towards the 100k mark again if that's going to be the case. That is most certainly going to be a big retest if we are going to see it. And quite amazingly, if you zoom out on Bitcoin, we are now up. Let's see, this is not the one we should use. If we zoom out, we are up. And from here, 80k all the way to 94, so 17% bounce for Bitcoin so far. For a month, of course, which is also important to mention, a 35% correction here. So let's see how much further we can be continuing here. What will be next here. But yeah, most importantly is going to be reclaiming that yearly open. Actually, I think Bitcoin in the short term is coming down now here. Yeah, I was right. Dump towards 92.5k. I think this is a zone where we have been bouncing from. Yeah. Let's see. But on the very short term, Bitcoin is coming down so slightly before the data will be hitting the markets. Something else which is going to be important to discuss is that actually yesterday we saw the ADP private payrolls coming in, which is also some labor market data here. Expectations 10k, outcome minus 32k, so quite a big difference there. What we do know by now for certain is that the used labor market is not looking that good. We did know that by now, but this is indeed not looking amazing. And yeah, basically since we have been live streaming on the channel, we can scroll back a little bit maybe here. Since we have been live on the channel, the used labor market has been deteriorating over the last 2 months. So yeah, this is indeed going quite fast with the labor market there, but it's so important data to keep in mind. This is of course, once again, we are looking into some labor market data. We are looking into the Bitcoin relief rally. This is something I discussed in this morning's update video. The interest is currently very low, but I think it's super important to understand what could be happening next year for Bitcoin. And I also want to discuss some potential trading position here. Just a moment. But for Bitcoin, what we can see during all the post-halving years in Q4, we can clearly see that every single time once Bitcoin relief bounces back up towards the 200 daily moving average line, we see that there Bitcoin gets rejected back under or slightly above the 200 daily moving average line. It happened every single time during all of the Q4 post-halving years breakdowns. Below the 50 weekly moving average also, that's one you can't see over here, but you can see, for example, over here. You break below that 50 weekly moving average. There. And there. And then now we are finding that support from the 100 weekly moving average, and from there you do see a move towards that 200 weekly moving average. So maybe you could say that if Bitcoin is going to bottom out at the 200 weekly moving average, which is going to be the green line or the yellow line, if you're expecting bigger bear market, you could maybe say that Bitcoin is now at about 50% through the entire bear market, and that's something I also outlined in this morning's update video. What is quite interesting, if you look into the data, Bitcoin is actually coming down much faster than we usually see, because actually we came quite far down here already, just before the year ended. We also topped out earlier than in the previous post-halving years. We came down quite early here, and now we are starting to bounce back up also earlier than what we saw during the other post-halving years. So that is indeed quite interesting. I don't know if we should be expecting that we are going to hit these levels at about 107k in 2026 still. I think that's why I draw this line out like this. I think we could be hitting it, let's say, the first 15 days of Jan. I would say that's a good probability here for Bitcoin. But yeah, it's going to depend on a lot of stuff. I think Bitcoin could be ending the year strong, moving back towards 100k, maybe reclaiming 100k at the end of the year, and then people calling for a big year, and then eventually you move ever slightly higher. Most people get trapped, and you see the bear market playing out. I think that's going to be a realistic scenario. On the other hand, it's also going to be a level I will just be watching, and at that moment I will give my honest view on the market. If I think Bitcoin is going to break above it, for what reason I have at that moment, I will be opening a long position, for example. But looking into the Bitcoin chart itself, if I can open a new one here, and we look in towards, we do know by now that the 200 daily moving average is then going to be an important one. And if I get Bitcoin here on the daily, boom, boom, like this, then 200 days. Why is it not showing here? Oh, it's loading. Yeah, 200 days. And then potentially move into it. We could maybe have a look into what levels this exactly aligns with. So we're basically looking into this resistance. It's the range low, I would say. This range we have above us here. But Bitcoin could potentially get rejected then. If Bitcoin is going to move towards these levels, I will very closely look into the weekly closes here. I might open a small short position here. And if I'm truly going to have a lot of conviction, we move lower. I think this could be a very good short, to be honest. This exact level. From potential long position, let's see. I think from potential long, I would be getting interested in opening a long here. Not much earlier, because if I'm opening a new long in these market conditions, I do want to be sure that it's going to be a very good entry. So that's why my long positions would be laying a little bit lower, my targets for there. Like stated, also closed my Ethereum trading position in a good profit this morning. Actually, we exactly sold the top here at 3.2k this morning at, what was it, 6, 7, 8 p.m. or a.m. actually for me. So yeah, there we closed that. Maybe I can show it. Yeah. Where is it? Here at close long. Yes, these were the two longs. We closed them at 20% realized profit. So that's nice. But actually for Ethereum, that was the thing. My Bitcoin trade was much bigger. And for Ethereum, I also wanted to do a bigger trade. But yeah, I missed my entries there. So I could not scale in. Otherwise, we would have been making a lot more profit. But I would say 20% is going to be a good return on your trading position regardless. We closed the full long position here this morning at 6:44 a.m. So just to show the transparency here, these are levels I'm looking into now, like I was showing just here. I think, yeah, this is going to be an absolutely big level. If you could break above it, you could also be looking into a long towards the range highs, definitely. But I just for now think that's not going to be the most likely scenario, and I do want to play with the most likely scenario, of course, or in the trend of the most likely scenario. But yeah, let's see where Bitcoin will be bouncing towards. If you do want to start trading yourself, by the way, we still have this campaign running with Albank to claim a 50% deposit bonus and a generous refund. So make sure to check it out. 2.5k deposit bonus, 5k generous refund. If you're getting interested in that, you can find the link in the description on this live stream. I will quickly show it here. Labor market data live stream. Pause myself here. And here you can be claiming your 2.5k deposit bonus and your 5k generous refund. So make sure to check it out if you're getting interested in that. In no way financial advice, but here we'll be opening more trades, and we have been making this trade, for example. So yeah, make sure to come over, because we have been doing quite well, I think. Next time we will just enter with more size on potentially Ethereum or Bitcoin. I must say that I think Ethereum maybe looks a little bit stronger on the short term. And that could be an amazing setup. Just in the wonderful case, this bull market is going to continue in some way. Or you're going to see like a big relief rally. I think that Ethereum is looking quite nice, actually. Also, the Ethereum versus Bitcoin pair is looking very good, I think. If you look into the moving average lines, we are holding well above the 50-weekly moving average. I would see this as a retest maybe. And here you saw that this also was major support for Ethereum versus Bitcoin before the next move higher. So I think Ethereum versus Bitcoin is now in a very big support zone, and actually holding up quite strongly here, I would say. We can also see some historical price data here and at the other levels. But yeah, I think Ethereum versus Bitcoin is holding up quite strong. It's also bouncing up ever so slightly now, which is of course going to be good. Ethereum also bounced stronger than Bitcoin, I think. We just had the Fusaka upgrade also, which is going to be a bullish catalyst for ETH. Spectral upgrade did send us up about 50%. You can see that even better on the daily perspective. Also make sure to, if you have any question now before the data, we have 15 minutes left. If you have any question now before the data, make sure to drop it now in the chat, then I can be answering it. But yeah, last spectral update, 50% move to the top side, absolutely amazing. And now the Fusaka upgrade, let's see where we will be moving next. Ethereum also flashing a dead cross actually here. Interesting. I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this dead cross actually. Not the last dead cross we this wasn't a dead cross. Where was the last dead cross for ETH? Where was it? Here. The last dead cross did not end very well for ETH, I must say. Definitely not. What a crazy year it has been, guys. If you imagine that this was the start of 2025. Look at this crazy move we had for ETH. and then the bounce back up, and now once again new move lower. It is insane what we have seen for ETH. Honestly, it is absolutely insane. But yeah, maybe we can be ending the year on a strong note. Decent woodworking. Nice to have you back once again. Nice to have you. But like I was saying, Ethereum is holding up quite strong, so it looks very interesting. I was also hesitating should I close my position, but I think we can be making a better trading position with more funds later. So sometimes patience is also going to be key here. Then we talked about Ethereum versus Bitcoin, but the Ethereum chart itself is also looking very good, I think. Because the difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin now is that on that weekly perspective, Ethereum is back above its 50 weekly moving average. And Bitcoin definitely isn't. So yeah, looks good. Daily candle is coming down here, so I would love to see, or the weekly candle actually, I would love to see a weekly close above the 50 weekly moving average. That would mean that Ethereum needs to stay strong for a few other days here. But I think that's possible. I think that is possible, most definitely. So yeah, let's see. But like I say, I think Ethereum looks a little bit stronger than Bitcoin here. Interesting level for Bitcoin. What else do we have here? Yeah, like I was talking with ETH, what I think if we can hold above that 50 weekly moving average, maybe we could be moving towards the bull market support band. That would be best. Ethereum is actually coming down here a little bit, but that would be the best case scenario. Other interesting chart is of course the chart with all of the FOMC meetings we had lately. 17th of December, 29th of October, and now the 10th of December. That Bitcoin usually pumps into the FOMC and then dumps afterwards. So let's see if this pattern is going to play out once again. Me personally, I think what happens at the FOMC itself is going to be more important. And yeah, actually this FOMC could be getting quite interesting since we also have QT that did end at the 1st of December. Maybe something about QE. A lot of possibilities, honestly. A lot of possibilities. And yeah, for the people just dropping in 12 minutes we have the initial jobless claims. And tomorrow we have the PCE data. And yeah, at the same time personal spending. But for us, the PCE data is going to be most important because that will be having the biggest effect on the rate cut odds. So that's what we should be looking into here. Let's hope Bitcoin can be reclaiming that yearly open here. That would be absolutely amazing. And like stated, the structure on Bitcoin looks very good. With here the low, higher low, and potentially another higher low, and then move above. This would be the best scenario for Bitcoin, and then we can see the continuation of this move. Then we can start hunting some highs, and let's see where Bitcoin is going to top now. But we do know from off that 200 daily moving average that the 107k for Bitcoin is going to be a very interesting level. And something that is a bit dangerous, what you for example saw in 2014, is that after bouncing back, we did saw a fake out, like a massive fake out actually. So that could be a moment where a lot of people get trapped, where you do see a few closes maybe. Daily closes actually are above the 200 daily, and then eventually we still fall down much lower. But this was a very different cycle since then, since volatility has been decreasing. We do see the rejection well at the 200 daily moving average, so maybe that's not going to be the case. But also in 2021 or 22 actually, we spiked quite high here. I think we topped out at 50k there. So yeah, quite interesting to see. Data in 10 minutes. I will quickly grab myself a bottle of water. One moment. Alright. By the way, guys, if you're still looking for a community to possibly join, make sure to come over to the VIP Telegram channel, because here I'm updating much more frequently about my trades, what I'm doing within the market in general. So if you do want more guidance or just a community to be active in within crypto, to be trading in, because that's also what it is, just a place to find friends, just a place to network, have a community, not be doing everything on your own. Make sure to also come out and check the VIP Telegram channel, which you can be joining with the link in the description on the live stream also here. Make sure to come and check it out. Same can be said for that LBank bonus, but I already discussed that earlier here. 2.5k deposit bonus, 5k chance refund. Make sure to check it out for yourself. Let me see what we can be discussing more. Data will be dropping in 8 minutes, so we don't have a lot of time left, but I want to make sure that I did give an update once again, a good update. Don't see a lot here. We can scroll to some news we saw coming out today. Lamborghini launched its own Bitcoin wallet. Okay, interesting. Let me come over to here. Let me see if we have some news. Yeah, America Bitcoin buys 363 Bitcoin for 34 million. Strategy is moving Bitcoin again, but that's not going to be a problem. CZ is debating Peter Schiff at the Binance event, so big news. Yeah, what else happening? I think this is an interesting chart with the altcoins, the Fed balance sheet, and the R-Pond. So the reverse repo activities from the Federal Reserve. I think this is looking quite interesting, because what happens during a reverse repo, basically banks are lending from each other, all wanting liquidity, and once you see a spike, it means that a lot of banks are at the same time trying to get loans, to get liquidity from each other, but there's a lot of liquidity stress in this case, and that's when the Fed steps in and injects liquidity into the banking system. You could maybe see it as somewhat of a stealth QE. It looks a lot like QE actually. But the interesting thing is we saw this also happening a lot during the 2019 towards 2020 period here, where Bitcoin also topped out with zero euphoria in this move higher. Absolutely zero euphoria here at the top. Bitcoin topped out also just before QT ended. Bitcoin topped out exactly like now. We trended lower, then higher once again. Then we saw COVID, so we had quite a black swan happening here, which was also another catalyst for even more QE. So yeah, we don't know what would have happened here if COVID never happened, of course. But what is quite interesting is that once there was a lot of liquidity stress within the banking system, that was the moment where also QE got started actually, because it started before COVID. That is something interesting and important to understand. So it could be starting once again, but I don't know if it will ever be at this scale once again. If the Fed is going to truly inject so much money in the system once again, because it will devalue the dollar like crazy. So yeah, it is going to be a big risk the Fed will be taking. Here the FOMC chart, like we discussed. Benefits of the trading group. What else do we have? Bitfinex X long still at all-time highs. We discussed that a lot of times in the channel. Data in 5 minutes also. That 100 weekly moving average we were talking about. So now you're basically at 50% into the bull market, let's say. Broke below the 50 weekly moving average, now bouncing on the 100 weekly. Possibly moving towards the 200 weekly. Then this is what you're looking at for Bitcoin. If you lose the 100 weekly moving average here, then you can be expecting quite a big bounce or quite a big breakdown down, which is interesting. The relief rally we discussed. Data in 4 minutes, by the way. Initial jobless claims in 4 minutes. China to suspend planned actions, or the USA to suspend planned actions on China and will stop new export controls. So we have some global tensions easing, which is always going to be positive for the markets. And yeah, that's it for today so far. But now we have the data coming out, so we have some new stuff dropping. So let's see how it's going to look like here. Cyberhawk sleeping emojis. Am I so boring to listen to? Or are you talking about the markets? 3 minutes. Then we have the initial jobless claims. Looking into the data itself, previous data 216k, forecast 220k. So ideally you don't want to see it coming out lower than 220k. For the rate cut odds, for the US labor market, it's a different story for itself and for the people. But if you're truly looking out of interest into crypto and rate cuts and more liquidity, you do want to see the labor market weakening. That is why you do want to see the jobless claims number coming out higher than expected. Mr. Crew Runner, welcome to Viewback. Your voice is so monotone, no offense. It's true. It's true. All right. 2 minutes. Let's see what the data will bring us today. News. We will be quickly on the news once it gets out. Miran's right wage should be much lower. Hiring plans are in a free fall, low since 2010. Interesting. Okay, 1 minute left. Congrats to your successful e-trade. Thank you so much. We will be opening a new trade in the near future, I think. A bigger one and better one. Should be fine. Data 1 minute. I will go to the For You page and then switch over to trading economics also, so we can be seeing it in real time. Let's see. Okay, 17:30. It's coming out any moment now. There it is. Use job exchange 191k. Okay, that is much lower than expected. Much lower than expected. Not very good actually for the rate cut odds. Not very good. Let me quickly post it. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing then. On the news, 5 minutes, because the data is actually not very good for Bitcoin. Coming down a bit, seems like. Not a lot actually. Not that much. Bitcoin doesn't care that much yet. Eat maybe a little bit more. No. Doesn't matter that much. We should keep our eyes on the rate cut odds now. Rate cut odds are still the same for now. But yeah, the data is actually quite insane data. Let's head over to it. Here we have the continuing jobless claims also coming in lower than expected, much lower actually. Initial jobless claims, big difference. It's about a 30k difference from what was expected. Jobless claims for weekly average, also lower than expected. It's not looking that good actually. At this print rate cuts will come anyways because overall the US economy is weakening. Yeah, I think most definitely the cut is going to come for the next meeting, but it is interesting to look into. It is interesting to look into. 89.2k. Thoughts on Rand's latest video? The 4-year crypto cycle was a huge lie. Rand, do you crypto banter? You mean? I don't know who exactly you mean. I think you like Rand from Crypto Banter, right? I haven't seen the video to be honest. But I feel like he's all over the place to be honest. No offense. The 4-year cycle was a huge lie, I see it with Crypto Insider. Maybe it's about the US business cycle then. Yeah, I don't know. It's the thing is there are indeed a lot of things different within this cycle, which do make me which make me not that sure of the first cycle itself, to be honest. But on the other hand, for now, the first cycle has been perfectly playing out. So why would it be going like this if it is not going to be the case once again? But we are just going to look into the levels. Look, we have the data. We know exactly what happens every 4-year cycle. We can just be looking into the data points and from there see what will be happening next. And we can make some trades on it. And maybe, for example, if I would open a short position here and Bitcoin is going to pump and I have my stop loss set, I'm still going to be happy. Because I think from of that point, in the end, if the bull market continues, we are all going to make a lot more money, and potentially you lose one position on it. But yeah, on the other hand, just looking into the data, I don't know, looks like it's perfectly playing out. Because of liquidity in the business cycle, on liquidity I don't really agree. I think for now, let's see what will be happening next from here, because rate cuts, the cuts or the rates are indeed coming down, but for liquidity from off those rate cuts to hit the market, it will take another few months. We don't have seen QE getting started, so there is not more liquidity getting into the market at the current moment. No new US dollars, or there are new US dollars coming in, but not at the rate of QE. The business cycle itself, we discussed it a lot of times. It's very weird, and it does look a lot more like 2019, the business cycle. So that would be the biggest reason. I would say that it is indeed different, but I would say we know that by now. We know that those things are very different. So we should be open-minded to a continuation of the bull market. If we are going to break certain levels that would be invalidating the 4-year cycle. In my opinion, that is how simple it is, and that is what we should be looking into. Because up until then, I'm just going to move with the trend, to be honest. And Bitcoin is, on the bigger perspective, in a downtrend, so you're better off following the trend for now, and then at some important level see what Bitcoin will be doing next there. and maybe be a little bit more cautious at those levels. Just take a smaller position, a very tight stop loss. You can do a lot of different things. But yeah, I will be watching the video from him later also. And then I will take a few things out of it and we can discuss that in tomorrow's morning update video also. But I don't want to watch the video live on stream because of, I don't know, copyright and stuff. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it is quite interesting and it is indeed different, honestly. Rand basically said that there has never been somewhat like a pure Bitcoin cycle, but always the business cycle, I think, always liquidity cycle. Yeah, there is something to say for it, but on the other hand, if you count out the days, there are so many patterns of an for your cycle on the other end. But for your cycle does come, it's like it's not something magical. It always correlates and it always aligns with important stuff happening surrounding the monetary policy, indeed the US economy, worldwide rates, a lot of different stuff. Oh, my ringtone. So yeah, for me, I will be just looking into the levels that could potentially invalidate the Fourier cycle, and if that's going to be the case. But for me, it does not make a lot of sense to now start saying I definitely think Bitcoin is going to move lower or is going to move higher. I think the most likely scenario is that Bitcoin will move lower actually into a bear market, most likely. But that's how I'm looking into that, not with a lot of emotion. Because I can start screaming, okay, I think the bull market will continue, but yeah, what will it bring me when I'm clearly talking against the trend, into the trend? Maybe some more shine, but I don't think it will. I don't think I will become a better trader from it and make better decisions. So I will be just looking into the price levels, no emotions, and from there we can be making our decisions from off the cycle. And on the very long term, I'm most definitely super bullish on Bitcoin, 100%. And the scenario I do find the most interesting, because people are always interested in it, is of course that 2019 scenario. That is definitely a scenario I'm most interested in because Bitcoin topped out just before QT, and all of this other stuff we discussed so many times. Yeah, I would say the 2019 scenario could most definitely be playing out, but that would mean that this is going to be the moment where Bitcoin would reclaim the moving average 50 line actually, now that we are talking about this, because in 2019 we dropped below it, reclaim. So yeah, that is quite interesting actually. I should be making some content with this. It should be happening now for Bitcoin, if it is going to happen. If it is the 2019 scenario. Could also be playing out differently, of course. If it would be the 2019 scenario, that is going to be interesting. I like the data, still no signs of recession. That's the most important thing. Yeah, true. Yes, I will be watching the video, checking if I did not miss any comments. Rate cuts will come anyways. Yeah. Okay, guys. Let me know if there are any more questions or things we should discuss. Otherwise, I will be ending in a few minutes. But yeah, we will be opening new trades in the future. You definitely don't want to miss tomorrow's live stream, I would say, because I think that one's going to be much more important with the PC inflation data. So make sure to be there. It's going to be a big watch, big one. Maybe we'll be making a trade there. Let's see. If you do want to start trading yourself, make sure to check out the L-Bank, that 2.5k deposit bonus and 5k generous refund. Make sure to go and check that out if you're getting interested in that. You can claim it with the link in the description on this live stream. Make sure to claim it. Thanks, dude, no problem. I will wait for a few minutes if there are any more questions coming in. Otherwise, we will be ending. Actually, initial jobless claims fell to the lowest reading since September. This is very interesting data we can end with. Or it was actually just deleted. US initial jobless claims fell to 191k, lowest reading since September 2021. Insane. Rovo just posted 94% rate cuts. I can't see, but he's probably talking about the poly market odds and not these. These are coming down a little bit because of the jobless claims, actually. Okay, guys, thank you all for watching. I wish all of you an amazing morning, afternoon, evening. Depends on the time zone you're in. But yeah, have a good one, and I'll speak to you guys in tomorrow's update video and live stream later on the day. Ciao.